are people out there with a computer and a lot of free time, and they take a phrase here and there, they simply cherry pick and put it together.
So here we are,
make it sound like he's saying something that
August
he didn't really
4th,
say.
Oh, something
2009.
Really well, let's listen again to cut two. You mean something like this? Go.
I'm on Late Street, heading to Deadstein. Just got out of the Holland Tunnel. Figure I'd give you, as Jason called it, some Jetta Cam as I head up to Deadstein at 7:38. Got 22 minutes to get there on time. I'll probably just barely make it, I hope. And with all these schmageggies right in front of me. But see how we do. Editing it down. Maybe we'll give you a view of it. See what it's all about. There's some New Jersey buildings. Maybe you could see them on the other side of this Monte Carlo.
Hey, Obama. Did he say what he just said, or didn't he say what he just said?
See some of those clouds
The
up there?
Goebbels-like propaganda that comes out of this administration. See, I know I'm going to be attacked for using that, so that's why I keep saying it now.
Can't
But
blame
I
them.
ask you, you just heard what Obama said in 2003 to the AFL-CIO. There are other clips, too, that we've played, and we've played them before. Now you're here to
You're about to turn onto this West Side Highway and hopefully
for the White
zoom
House and this
down.
president, telling you not to pay attention to the Drudge Report or Andrew Breitbart or actual recordings of Obama himself, Democrats, that they have nothing to fear when they have everything to fear. They're desperate to convince you.
Got a nice little Ford Ranger ahead of us, a little work truck. I like those things.
You know you're not a paid K Street lobbyist for an insurance company. You know you're not working for the RNC. I mean, this is really what a bunch of nuts, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, back to this town hall stuff. Just to make sure you understand that they have their talking points on how contemptible you are to them. Here is spokes-idiot Gibbs responding to ABC's Jake Tapper. Cut 4, go.
Is it your contention, is the White House contention, that the anger that some members of Congress are experiencing at town hall meetings, especially over health care reform, is manufactured? Is that
I think some of it is, yes. In fact, I think you had groups today, conservatives for patients' rights, that have bragged about organizing and manufacturing that anger.
How is their organizing and getting people to come to town hall meetings and express their feelings any different from a liberal group doing the same thing?
Well, I think what you've seen is they've bragged about manufacturing to some degree that anger to
the liberal media gets it, we get it, and so forth. You look at it, maybe you don't look at it. What does that have to do with anything? Do they look at Acorn, which really is, in many ways, a criminal front group? No, they don't. Do they look at the Center for, what is it, American Progress, or whatever it's called, and who funds that and its political activities? No, they don't. Do they look at Media Matters? No, they don't. Do they look at any? No. But we're supposed to hate conservatives for patients' rights, or right-wingers. I don't know who funds them, but let's pretend for a minute that insurance companies give them money. Well, who gives the other side money? Unions? Left-wing billionaires? Why is their money clean and pure, and that's all well and good? But when you have these businesses fighting for their very survival, then that's something that's bad. By the way, insurance executives gave Barack Obama money when he was running for the Senate and for president. And Pelosi and Reid, and I'm sure they'll return all of it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the problem with Gibbs, besides his very low IQ, is that he didn't go to Hillsdale College. If he'd gone to Hillsdale College, he'd be a principled young man. He'd understand that flacking for a statist is very destructive to the civil society. And what he should be doing is promoting liberty and private property and the rule of law. These are all things that are essential to the educational program at Hillsdale College. I know Hillsdale College better than any other host and better than most national figures. The president, Larry Arnn, is a friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time. I've gone to Hillsdale College. I've spoken to the students there. It's a magnificent place. It's a safe haven for liberty, if you will. Now, if you've listened to my show, you know that Hillsdale publishes Imprimis. Imprimis is a monthly speech digest. It features the finest speakers on issues of limited government and traditional values. Speakers like, well, me. Each month you can receive Imprimis at no charge, absolutely free. Remember, also, Hillsdale refuses to accept even a penny of government. For Hillsdale.com, we'll be right back.
Mark Levin on 7.
I don't believe he's a natural-born citizen, and I'm paraphrasing short, but it hit the internet, and in the first few days, 500,000 people saw it. But Congressman Castle came back and said, no, he is natural-born. The entire audience booed. And then something went on. Then they all stood up. I think this woman said, "Let's, salute the flag," and they did the, salute the flag. And everyone.
But Philip, listen. I've seen some middle-of-the-road Republican senators. Of course, they're all middle-of-the-road or leftists. Say this is a non-issue. And their position is that Obama could be undermined more effectively on his policies per se. In other words, his socialization of the financial industries, the billions of dollars that have gone missing in TARP funds, the takeover of the auto industry, the destruction of General Motors, and now the attempt to create a national health care plan, which is government medicine. These issues, they say, will undermine Obama faster and better than would the birth issue. What do you say to that?
Well, I think that's because they're afraid to step into this issue, but they're not going to do it because they can't attack those issues because they don't have a majority. Now, what's going to happen this month is critical. You know why it's critical? Because all the members of Congress went home. And they're going home. The House is home. Senate will be home in a few days. They'll go on vacation, but many of them will be holding town halls. And a lot of them are afraid to have these meetings now.
Because of what's been going on with people jumping up and screaming and yelling about Obama and his birth and this and that.
I believe in the next month it's going to jump tenfold because people at home are concerned about the stimulus package not working, what are they doing to health care, but also they're going to bring up the birthing issue is now coming up, and they're going to realize that these ways to get at this guy. Once we get enough people in this country to question where he was born, I believe we can force him to resign sometime by the end of this year.
Well, I suspect, as I've said before you came on the show, Philip, that this government which prints our money, this government which prints bonds, this government can print anything and they can forge a birth certificate. And in so doing, at that time, they'll undermine the entire movement. Don't you think so?
No, again, because if they had done that in June 2008, fine. But now it's growing so big. Like here, like the thing I put out today. Has he legally changed his name after being adopted in Indonesia? And where do we get the facts of the adoption? In his book, which, I don't know who wrote it, but in his book he states, my stepfather returned, his parents divorced, his mother remarried. In the book he says, my stepfather returned to Indonesia before my mother and I. When my mother and I went there, I immediately went to school. Well, in the 1960s, Indonesia was at war. So we have, and the only ones who could go to school there were if you're natural born. Well, he wasn't born there, but you also got the natural born status